Hey there, welcome back once again. It is time for the Golden Age of DC Comics, 365 days, where I take this beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends. This has been surfing my coffee table ever since, and it has continued to be a great source of comic book shop style conversations. Those I wish to recreate here, right now, today, with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am blessed and grateful that you're here. The Golden Age of DC Comics runs between 1938 and 1955. The Silver Age between 1956 and 1970. The Bronze Age, I'm a Bronze Age baby myself, between 1970 and 1985. And the Copper Age begins in 1985. I get these definitions from a great standard. I believe this to be a very fair and good standard. This is the Overstreet Price Guide, the most current edition. And in the glossary, it has a wonderful definitions for common comic book terms. So yeah. If you'd like to take me up on a conversation of the ages of comic books and what's your ideas, hit me. I'm in for it. That's what I'm here for, is to talk comic books. And we're going to use this book for its intended purpose. It's a 365 days book. We're going to open up to today's date. We're going to look at some comic book art from an Antediluvian age. We're going to read the blurb, and then we're going to talk about comic books. And we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. This is a 2004 Abrams publication, written and curated by Les Daniels, Chip Kidd, and Geoff Spear. There is a link to the Amazon page in the description. If you would like your own copy, you can play along at home. It will look great on your coffee table, and it makes a great gift for a geek. I know. I usually do something called the escapism caveat. I now include that at the end of the show in its own video. You're more than welcome to check it out, and it's what I believe what's holding back a lot of modern day comic books. And let's get to it then, huh? And I hope you're having an awesome day, and I hope that you are clobbering your problems and not being clobbered by them. All right, it is August the 14th. Indeed, this is art by Jack Letty from World's Finest Comics #2, summer of 1941. And it might be the debut of that new outfit, the new togs for the Crimson Avenger. Indeed, this is Lee Travis, publisher of the Globe Leader, also plays a role which is unknown to his friends and the public at large. Only Wing, his trusted aide, is aware that he is the Crimson Avenger, spirited defender of law and justice. And that is some kind of gas gun, it looks like he has, in a way. It's an unconventional, perhaps non-lethal sort of sidearm triggered weapon. And it appears that he's rendered unconscious, this person in the fedora, that he's holding on to by the scruff of his coat. Let's read the blurb and let's get into the Crimson Avenger. Introduced in the pages of Detective Comics in 1938, he predates Batman. The Crimson Avenger was part of the tradition that included characters like the Shadow from both Radio and Pulp magazines, like Radio's Green Hornet. And DC's hero had a gas gun and an Asian servant. He also had a big hat and a cloak to help obscure his appearance. But the arrival of costume heroes like Superman and Batman made him look pretty drab in comparison. The red tights seen here were an attempt to modernize the Crimson Avenger, but he never became very popular, and in 1945, he disappeared. Yes, let's look at him once again. He's got that fin on the top of his cowl. He's also wearing a domino mask, and his sidekick Wing has a very similarly colored outfit in the same cut style, and I believe in inverted colors. And he was also part of the Seven Soldiers of Victory, which were the second DC superhero team. The first Crimson Avenger, Lee Walter Travis, first appeared in Detective Comics number 20. That was October of 1938. And what happened was that Action Comics has a cover date of June 1938, but Detective Comics number 27 is when Batman has his first appearance. So he predates Batman, but he's pretty derivative on the Shadow, who I think is 1931, and Green Hornet, who was in 1936, and those were in other media. I mean, Green Hornet and Kato were a crime-fighting duo that they were a radio play, and then became movie serials, and then started. There was a comic book that came out in the 40s, early 1940s. Let's just look at it. Early comics. The Green Hornet comic books began in December of 1940. A series titled The Green Hornet Comics, published by Heinlein Comics, sometimes Holyoke. That only lasted 6 issues. Then several months later, Harvey Comics launched its own version, keeping the numbers and beginning with number 7. And that ran until issue 47 in 1949. And Harvey Comics they did Casper. And they were a pretty big publisher. Yeah. Harvey Comics was, it definitely had its own slice of the comic book pie back in the day, too. Crimson Avenger, yeah. This is Lee Walter Travis. And, he appeared in Detective Comics number 20. He had many similarities to the Green Hornet, including a sidekick named Wing, who was an Asian valet, a gas gun that he used to subdue opponents. Also, Sandman would use a gas gun, and he had a fedora and a gas mask. And Sandman also got his own modernization of his uniform to look more superhero-like, in tights, in trunks, and without the fedora cape, and which was, they were going for, I guess, a different recipe. Yes, but they both started out wearing the fedora cape combo and domino mask. Haha, that's what they call that mask for the eyes. Like, you think of Robin, Batman and Robin, it's called a domino mask. Then there's Batman, who has a full cowl, that protects his head, too. For some reason, too, I think in modern comics, when you're going to have a kid sidekick, I believe this. This is coming from in my humble opinion, all young super adventurers should be wearing a helmet. They would not be not wearing a helmet playing football, hockey, baseball. Basketball seems to be the only, or rugby, or soccer, football seems to be the only sports that don't require a helmet. Even in rugby, though, some people do have protective headgear, especially if you're starting to develop a cauliflower ear. But most people go helmetless in those sports. What do you think? Do you think that kid sidekicks need helmets? I do. You need to, protect that precious melon. That's where you dream out of. What do you think? Thank you so very much for tuning in. We've been talking about the golden age of DC Comics, and we're going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. We make daily content here. We talk about comic books every day. I talk about cooking. I'm a professional chef. We talk about spirituality and gratitude and purpose. We talk about planets in the early morning sky. If it's clear and there are planets out, I will point the planets out to you. I love doing that. And I got cute little nature shorts of bunnies eating their breakfast of the lawn. It's so adorable. I like these serene nature moments before my hectic workday starts, and I like to share them with you on here on my channel. Thank you so very much. And just to also let you know, today is it's August 14th, but it's the last day of Fan Expo Boston. and it's going on between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. today. I'll be there all day with the YouTube tribe that I've become friends with in real life, and it's a really good experience. I'm looking forward to hanging out with them, to spending the last day at con together as much as we can, and and break bread with new friends. And if you're around, let us know. If you're at the con, look us up. Look me up on Twitter. Let me know you're there, and I'll let you know where to be and when, and where you can find us. Yeah, Fan Expo Boston 2022. It's going to be real fun. It's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be the third con I've gone to this year. I'm enjoying getting out again and rejoining, the nerdiness and the geekiness. I love cosplayers. I love their energy. I love their interpretations on characters. I love homemade outfits. I love walking right up to a complete stranger and saying, "You look great." I love that. That's the most fun I have at cons, is interacting with the cosplayers. In my humble opinion, there's always been diversity, inclusion, and representation in comic books, and you can always see it at the cons in the cosplayers and in the splendor and spectrum of humanity that chooses to dress up and show up. And it's always impressed me, and I love it, and I love being part of this energy. And you know what? Thank you so very much for tuning in. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again tomorrow. All right. Cheers. Ciao. And have a good one. Bye-bye.